All right, so it's back to my regularly scheduled procrastination. I'm sorry about this coming out so late. Anywho, y'all did get the fight episode on time, so be thankful. Anywho, so this episode starts off 5 days after the fight. We're joined with Candace, and she's cleaning her mother's house. And we're all seeing flashbacks of the fight. It's basically like Candace is reflecting on it. Now, she's saying to the confessional, like, oh yeah, that was my sister. I'm still trying to process this whole mess. And I just don't understand why she did what she did. So now we're at Monique's place. And, Monique is tired. She tired of those damn kids. Like, girl, I get it. They are cute, but, kids are tiring. That's why I don't want any. So Monique has the idea of gathering all the ladies, with the exception of Candace, to just explain her actions and hopefully apologize. And she wants the event to be curated by Karen, someone that has been neutral with the fight. And she really wants to find out, like, from the other ladies' perspectives of what happened. Because Monique says, she's trying to recall these events because she blacked out. Now, I'm not trying to be shady, Monique. I still love you. But, in that moment, I could see blacking out. But afterward, like, after you tried to chase the car and stuff like that, you had to be a little bit present. So I get with the blacking out in the whole, bop, bop, bop. But after that, then I think you have a recollection of what happened. Anywho, moving on. So I think, she just wants to, like, explain herself to the women, basically. So now that this plan has been put into motion, we get a little reactions from the other wives of being invited to this event. And clearly, Wendy, Robin, and Giselle, they've already made up their mind on whose fault this fight was. Like, they already just like, okay, I guess we going to this. So now we just fast forward straight to this event, and I appreciate that in this episode. There's no we getting straight to the meetup. So Karen calls Candace, the day where all the ladies are coming over. She's just letting her know and being transparent that she's having this event for Monique to explain herself. And she also extends the same grace to Candace, like, oh, well, if you want to get all the ladies together at my place, I'd be happy to. And, explain your side. I feel like we need to hear you as well. Candace is on the other line saying, well, you know what? I don't feel like I need to. I talked to all the other ladies. They know what happened. And it looks like Candace is a little salty that Karen is holding this whole thing for Monique. It looks like Candace wants Karen to pick a side. And I'm basically like Karen right now. I think, both ladies basically played a part in the fight. So, yeah, extend the same courtesy. I think what Karen is doing is, cool to me. I don't think she's showing Monique any favoritism. I think she's really upset that two people she cool with got into a fucking brawl. And honestly, like, Monique is still a cast member on the show. Like, she still needs to film, even though she did, whip Candace's ass. Like, she should have a platform to explain herself and her actions, at least hear her out. And I don't know. Candace is, of course Candace is going to be Candace throughout this whole thing. So she's entitled to feel how she feel, I guess. So Robin arrives at Karen's first, and I was pretty shocked, but then I realized that Robin doesn't really live in Potomac, and she has to drive 40 to 45 miles just to get there, so it was imperative for her to get there on time anyway. Child, Giselle pulls up in this small car. I don't even know how that security guard fit in there, but she brought her own security. Like, is she serious? Really? The extraness of it all. Like, she already arriving stank. Like, she has a stank look on her face. She doesn't want to be there. She made up her mind, but okay. And she's bringing this big burly ass man with her in case Monique attacks her. Lord. I gotta say though, y'all, like, Giselle is the villain of this season. She is the really true villain. She's the one that needed Monique's energy. Anywho, So Ashley arrives with little Michael in tow, and it looks like she still can't find proper babysitting. I don't know why, but okay. So next, Wendy arrives, and it looks like just everyone's waiting on Monique. So as they're waiting on Monique, they're discussing how the blogs got a hold of the whole story about the fight. And Robin in particular thinks it was Monique's camp that leaked this story to the blogs because like the story is being told in Monique's favor. Now pause, like I remember when the story came out and you know how they left the season off, like Candace was, an annoying asshole her season. Let's just call it like it is, And so when I saw the story, I was just like automatically, okay, well, Candace had to be the person that provoked Monique, so I get it. Like this, like it's not far-fetched in this case because we clearly saw that it was more so Monique with the hair flipping and how things started to get out of hand. But yeah, like when that story first came out, I was just like, you know what? Candace asked for the dragon and she finally got dragged. And like back now, edit. And now looking back at it, I'm just like, I can kind of see Robin's point. Robin is, can be particularly annoying, but she has a point. I agree that, this story is basically set up as Candace threw the wine glass, and then that's what made Monique attack, and it did not happen that way, as we can see. Anywho, child, Wendy on her soapbox and self-righteousness as black women. Girl, now see, I talked about this in the last video, and you can disagree with me or not. They are on a reality show. These women do not represent black women as a whole, in my opinion. They represent themselves. Whatever actions they do, it's on them. I don't care what white people think about them. I don't care what white people think about me and like what I'm doing on my platform, okay? So I just wish they cut out with that bullshit, Like, make an example for yourself. You're not representing all black women. Anywho, Wendy says I'm on the front lines every day. Girl, the front lines. You on the front lines. I'm gonna just let y'all have at it with that comment. She's on the front lines every day, fighting for everyone. Okay, girl. And now they bringing up her kids, like her being a role model. Come on, Robin, are you being a role model for your kids, staying in a marriage that clearly, because Juan made her look like a fool the first 2 seasons, maybe first 3 seasons, honestly. That's okay. Anyway, and Giselle is worried about being a role model. Okay, but you getting back with your ex-husband that your kids don't even like their own dad. I just don't get it. It's the hypocrisy for me. Like, they can have their opinions about Monique, but at this point, I think they're kicking her when she's down. Because they already know she's at fault. They already knew she embarrassed herself. But they really are, like, kicking her when she's down. They already had, like, a preconceived notion of this. They already made their minds up. They don't even need to hear Monique, honestly. So now we do a weird freeze frame of the whole situation, and we're going to check on Candace. So Candace is going to this random house, and this is where her therapist lives. So she's going to go to her therapy session. This guy looks a lot like Judge Joe Brown, like at least like a younger one. So she's recalling the fight to the therapist, and so the therapist asks, well, so you engaged with her? And Candace was like, she reluctantly agrees with the therapist. So as they're doing play-by-plays of the fight as Candace is explaining it, we're getting slow motion of the video, and I gotta say, like, this still wouldn't have happened if one party walked away. And they didn't. And that's the part that Candace played. Like, she kept engaging the situation. Now, provoking, Monique was provoking Candace too, but Monique wanted a reaction out of Candace. Let's just keep that 100, can we? Like, Monique wanted to whip her ass, but she didn't have to. That's the thing, but Monique wanted to. So now we're back at Karen's and Monique finally arrives. So when she walks in, we see Wendy, we see Giselle, and we have Robin. They all have stank looks on their faces. What I got from it was she's very emotional as she's talking, and I feel for her. She said she's embarrassed for her actions. She said, "That's not me. Please don't judge me for this one occurrence." And also she apologizes to the ladies for, probably getting them in danger. I mean, we saw that flying glass was everywhere. We see Robin in the background holding up this massive table. So of course we see Giselle being Giselle, like a 40-year-old child, being really extra, interrupting her and saying like, "Oh, I gotta take notes." Come on. Monique is coming from a very sincere place, so hear her out. Don't be rude, Giselle. So now Monique is explaining the fight from her viewpoint to the ladies. She basically said, "Oh, as soon as a glass of wine went to my face, that's when I started swinging." Now, Monique, as if, she forgot that there was a whole exchange between Candace, and there were fingers in the face, and then she started whipping her hair, and then that's when someone touched her, and then that's when she grabbed Candace's hair, and then the wine was in her face. So she kind of left that out. Also, she says in her story that she didn't really recall what happened. So you got those shady Bravo producers who immediately afterward shows footage of her in the car talking to her producer about what exactly happened. And when we see Monique giving a play-by-play of what she did. So, doesn't look too good here, just saying. So she continues to say she was pumped up on adrenaline, and she really does acknowledge that it's a problem where she could not control herself. So now we get the rebuttal from the ladies, and Robin starts first. Robin's like, "At first you had me." Now, Robin, you could have been a little bit more respectful than that. I don't get why we gotta still kick Monique while we down. That was my whole problem with this discussion. Also, Robin says it was red wine that was thrown in her face. I watched that fight 10 times. That was white wine in her face. It was a clear substance that splashed in her face. It wasn't red wine. But I do agree with Robin. Monique's account of the fight is exactly what went out on the blogs. So I do give that to Robin, that I can see it being Monique leaked the story about what happened from her viewpoint. So Robin also brings up the tweet that Monique sent out. I think she was like, "You ask and you shall receive," or something like that. And it basically shows that Monique was not very remorseful after the fight. So now we have Wendy's rebuttal. And, she makes a good point. Candace did not deserve that beating. And I agree with her on that. I really do. But we get into self-righteous mode. And as black women, and I feel the same way as Ashley, I rolled my eyes. Okay, girl. You made your point with Candace. No matter how you feel about her, because she is annoying as fuck, she did not deserve to get pummeled like that. I agree. Okay, now we freeze frame back to Candace's therapy session. And basically Candace is talking about the aftermath of the fight and how the story leaked. And I kind of feel bad for her on this point, because when that story leaked, everyone was on Candace's page like, "Girl, I heard you got your ass whooped. Oh, you finally got dragged. You asked for it. And we see tweets on tweets on tweets on tweets on tweets. So yeah, I can understand, Candace's position on that. She should be angry. Now the therapist asked Candace, "Do you think you contributed to any way leading up to the fight?" And without hesitation, Candace says no. And she says, "I did not deserve that." And the thing is, Candace, he didn't ask you, did you deserve it? He asked, did you contribute to how the fight started? And that's where I'm just like, we got to take a little bit of accountability. We got to take a little bit. You could have just said, "Well, you know what? I could have walked away." That's all. Now, the therapist also asked her, "Do you think you played a role in Monique turning on you?" She also says no. And I'm just like, well, There is the behind the scenes shit that happened, but she did apologize for it. But the thing is, we need accountability on both sides, and it looks like both women aren't being accountable right now. Now, is one person more wrong than the other? Yes, I agree with that. And by the way, I'm glad this is such a polarizing debate, but if you have your opinion on it, it's fine. I have my opinion. We might not agree. But like I said, I think Monique is more at fault for this fight. Does Candace play a role in it? She did too. Okay, anywho, moving on. And lastly, Candace is like, forgiveness will definitely take time. The therapist asks, well, what would you say to Monique? She says, nothing. Nothing. And we're back at Karen's. And it looks like Ashley is kind of the only one that's Team Monique right now. Now we get to Giselle. And Giselle is clearly not here for Monique. Now Giselle is speaking up, and of course she's not here for Monique at all. And I really think she's talking down to Monique right now, which is kind of grinding my gears because Monique is already coming from a place of sorry. Giselle's bringing up her own kids and what she had to tell them, and she's like, my kids say you shouldn't be around her at all. I'm like, okay, Robin, shut the fuck up. Oh my God. You see your best friend talking down to her and you expect Monique to just not have an attitude with that? Girl, shut up. The only person being condescending right now is Giselle, your green-eyed bandit friend, okay? Oh, God. And now she's getting mad at Karen? What? I mean, Karen is honestly the only one making sense in this whole situation to me. And I feel like Karen is definitely being real, outside of all the cameras on them. She's being a concerned friend and she's keeping it real with Monique. I'm really enjoying Karen right now. I really am. So the group of ladies that already made up their mind on Monique, they basically have a problem with her not being remorseful. And they call her out on it. And Monique says, you know what? I'm not remorseful right now. I'm still processing all this. And, I got to give it to Monique. She not giving a fake response because the cameras are all around her. Would it help her? Yes. But she's being honest about it. Is it right? Probably not. But yeah, she's just giving those ladies more fuel because she says she's not remorseful. I'm still on the side of Candace being that she didn't deserve the ass whooping. And apparently, Monique still thinks Candace deserved that ass whooping. No one deserves that ass whooping more than Giselle, though. That's all I gotta say. Speaking of Giselle, she basically goes into this dramatic, I by no means want to be anywhere near you. And then she gets up. And Monique's like, okay, that's fine, you can leave. And then she just continues talking. I'm glad because, Giselle, we don't need you in this conversation anymore. You can gladly walk your ass out the door. Pretty much. That's how I felt that situation. I don't know, these three, Robin and Wendy and Giselle are making some points, but the way they're delivering it is just really pissing me off. So then we hear in Giselle's confessional that and she makes sure she mentions her ex-husband Jamal Bryant. We have an image to protect. Y'all have a plot line to protect, okay? And what you're doing is not a good role model for your daughters, accepting trash and toxic men in your life. But okay. So anywho, Monique is finishing her point. She's getting more emotional, and she says antagonizing is the same as throwing hands. Now, Monique, I love you, but that's not the same thing. And the reason why I keep bringing up Portia and Kenya, because that was a situation where someone was provoked to the point of finally snapping, and that was the same. But this situation, this fight, definitely was different from Portia and Kenya, because it was clearly a one-sided person. This one, it was both sides. So I don't agree with Monique on that, and Wendy doesn't either. And Monique disagrees, and that's fine. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Is provoking in Monique's situation the same as throwing hands or being aggressive? Wendy again has to bring up the fact that you're a commentator. We get it, girl. We get it. I hope she gets paid for these commentating things because, jeez, that's all I know about her right now. So Monique continues and she's just saying that she doesn't like, how this situation, meaning the show, has brought this out of her. She's, very embarrassed. And she's saying, maybe I don't need to be in this situation anymore. And some ladies are agreeing to the point of, well, maybe you need a break. But, let's see. And then she also lets the ladies know if y'all want to do any group things, please don't feel obligated to invite me. Just don't invite me. Monique also says she's going to talk to her pastor as well, to get through this. I also think she needs to talk to a therapist, maybe anger management. And I got to say, I really appreciate how Karen is the entire time. I thought she was a great neutral party. I thought she was fair. I thought she was still respectful, but still holding Monique accountable like a true friend. And then it pretty much ends with Karen's like, I bought all this food. Y'all better come and eat this food. When the ladies all walk up to the kitchen, Wendy and Robin, they're basically not sold. They're telling each other, they already made up their minds. So yeah, they're not sold on what Monique is selling. So then the episode ends with Karen just giving Monique some encouraging words. And then, Monique still throws in, yeah, but let's not get people to provoke other people. Monique, she's standing firm in that. Maybe she feels different to this day. But in this moment in time where she was talking about it, she still feels Candace deserved to get her ass whooped. Anywho, that's where the episode ends. Couple of things from the episode. I really enjoyed this episode. I love that they focused most of it on the aftermath and talking it out. Like we just had 2 straight stories in this episode. We had Monique's explanation, and then we have Candace, a little bit with her therapist, even though that was a little boring. Anywho, I enjoyed the dialogue between all the women, even with Giselle's extraness. And again, I feel bad for both parties. I feel like Candace is going through it, Monique is going through it, so yeah, I feel bad for both of them. Giselle, oh my God, she was so annoying this episode. And honestly, I still think she was the one that needed to be put hands on. And it's unfortunate because now Monique can't, make that same mistake anymore. She can't fight anymore this season. After that, that's it, or else she's going to be off the show. Now, it's been 10 episodes so far. I'm not feeling Wendy. I tried to give her, the benefit of the doubt, but she's just annoying. All she has to show for herself are her degrees and, her commentating and stuff like that. I don't think she's meshing well with the ladies. And she's not making that splash that first-time Housewives on their first season, like Leah from Housewives of New York, or Dorinda, or Kenya, or Erica Jane. She's just not making a big splash enough for me to, want to see her back in season 2. So I really think, I'm calling it here now, that she might be a 1-season housewife. Anywho, after that, we get the mid-season trailer, and we see that there's another fight to come. And yeah, I can't believe we're 10 episodes in. Hopefully we got maybe 7 more and a 3-part reunion. Okay, but yeah, well, that was my review. Like, comment, and subscribe as always. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Cdiggi1. I will be having 2 more videos this week, a live episode, of course, and a combos and concoctions. All right, so yeah, I will see y'all later. Bye.